Howdy folks, welcome back to Faded Paint Garage. I'm gonna do some tire swapping this morning. Got to thinking I'd like to run these 8-inch wide wheels like I've got on the 56 and the 6s on the front. Basically same setup. I want to see if these will, this wheel and tire combo will fit on the back of this. Okay, I'd like to do the big and littles. Wide and skinnies, but keep that cop car look with the dog dish hubcaps, basically what this thing has. So we're gonna do a little temporary swapping here to see if that'll work, and then I can get some wheels and tires ordered for this guy. So let's get going. All right, here we are with the 255 7015s on the back. They definitely fill the wheel well in nicely. So this is the 15 by 8 that was on the back of the 56. I think there's 0 offset, so it's right in the middle. So they fit on there good. There's a couple inches of clearance between the tire and the spring, and then there's just barely enough, although I don't think I'd ever get low enough to rub the tire. It does, see if I can get you a picture, it does clear the inner fender lip just barely. So that's about as much tire as you're going to get under there, I think, without making some modifications. Now, I thought about doing the 275/60, which is probably the most common tire to put on the back of these B-bodies, but so this one would be a little bit taller and maybe a little narrower. Tread width-wise, I'm not sure. These are plenty wide, as you can see, tread-wise. About the shot, so especially compared to the other side, which is pizza cutter, police style, I guess. I like this. I think this will work. Here, I'll show you the different. Oh, let me turn my light on. There you go. So there's plenty of room there between the spring and the tire. Again, there's just enough between the tire and the outside lip there. So I guess the guy could curl those lips if he needed to. So I think these will be fine. I was kind of debating on whether they're a little too big, but they sure fill the wheel well in nicely. Now, the tires that are on the front here, they're actually, they're trailer tires. They were just rollers, so 205 70s or whatever. So I can't get that, I don't think, in a passenger car tire. So we'll just see what I can get close. Again, I like the tall, skinny look on the front, which is about, I think, the tire that I put on the front of the 56 was about as tall and skinny as I could get in that Cooper Cobra. Don't know if I'll run the Cobras on this due to pricing right now and availability, so I'll just get online and see what I can find for muscle car type tires that'll fit this size spec. So anyway, I like that. I think we'll go with that. I think it'll look good. All right, the next step we're going to look at doing is the fuel tank. So I'm going to remove the fill filler neck. They go in behind the license plate, and then take a peek in the fuel tank and see what we're dealing with. Okay, got the filler neck out, and it's lots of rust on this guy, so it's going to have to get a electrolysis cleaning before it goes back in. See if I can take a look inside the tank here. Nope, there we go. So let's see, not terrible looking, but I'm thinking we'll pull it out of there and take a pressure washer to it. I've had pretty good luck doing that in the past. Get it cleaned out good. So I'll drop the tank out. The other thing too is the tank needs to be dropped out pretty much regardless, because I need to replace the fuel line that goes from the tank to the body, because that old fuel line will just come apart. So. Okay, so something I didn't realize with these tanks is the pickup is actually on the side, so it's kind of hard to tell, but in there you go, on the other side of the tailpipe there is the fuel hose and the fuel sender unit, so you wouldn't have to take the tank out to change the fuel lines on that, so that's nice. So we're going to go ahead and still drop it out, but I just wanted to point that out. I've also found on the driver's side of the fuel tank there's 4 lines coming out. I wasn't expecting that, so that must be part of the venting or something, but they all go out and go to something underneath this plate, this cover, so I'll have to pull that and see what I'm dealing with under there. Well, after I got the fuel tank out, had my plans to pressure wash it, all that, I had to jump on the interweb and get a new pickup sender ordered, since that one's beyond repair. It's all rusty, and the pickup sock thing's rotten. So needed one of those. So I went to Classic Industries website. I got one of those picked out, and then I was like, oh, I wonder what a new fuel tank costs. Well, 150 bucks. So I went ahead and ordered one of those along with the new pickup. So we're gonna go that route instead. Figure alleviate the hassle of cleaning out the varnish and rust and garbage out of the old one. These brand new zinc plated tanks. So that'll alleviate a lot of issues down the road potentially. Just have a brand new one. So clean fuel systems makes things a lot happier. These 4 lines coming out. That's the venting system, which I knew, but it goes to a charcoal canister thing behind the rear tire. So we'll get that spliced into the old system on that. I do have to still deal with the fuel filler tube. It's all rotten and rusty. Well, not rotten, but rusty. So I've got a trick for cleaning rust off metal using electrolysis. So we'll get that going shortly, and I'll show you how I do that, and that'll clean this clean it up like new, so that'll be fine. Here's my setup for removing rust. You need a trickle charger DC power supply. So an old battery charger will work. I just use this old wall wart here. This one's 9-volt DC 600 milliamp, but probably 1 or 2 amp would be fine. This is smaller than that and it still works. Make sure it's DC voltage, 9 or 12 or whatever. Probably 6 would be fine. Doesn't really matter, might just take longer, I don't know. But you need one of those. Put some gator clips on there. Make sure you mark your positive and your negative. The most important part is this is pH plus, but what it really is sodium carbonate. That's the ingredient you're looking for. It also comes like washing soda if that stuff's easier to get where you are, but around here the pH plus is easier to get, so it's cheap. So you need that. That's for your solution. So it'll just be this stuff and water. For this project, I'll put in a half a cup or something. I don't even know what the correct ratio is, but just put some in there and it seems to work fine. I don't think too much would hurt anyway. And then you need your part you're going to take the rust off of, and then sacrificial anode. So this is the part that the rust will come off of here and attach itself to here. So you put the positive on this, negative on that, and these can't touch. They can't physically be touching. And then so like, and it's line of sight. So if I put this out here, rust isn't going to come out of here and get onto that. So I've got to isolate it. So I've got a little cap there, and I put some electrical tape on there, and I'll shove it in there. And then on this piece, I'll take my little gauge here and make sure I'm not getting any reading between the two pieces, so I know they're not touching. If they're both external, then you can set it up so they obviously don't touch. I would recommend keeping your positive gator clip out of the water, so it doesn't become part of the anode. So you want that sticking up a little bit, or get some other little gator clips and clip it on there. But that's basically all it is. So you put get yourself a container, of course, fill it full of water, mix it half a cup of this, whatever in there. Set your piece in there. Sacrificial anode, line of sight, remember that. And then this will usually take 2 or 3 times. So you let it run for a day, take the anode out and clean it, because it'll just be coated in rust. Put it back in there, keep doing it until you're not getting any rust on your anode anymore, or to the level that you're happy with. And then that's it. It doesn't hurt though you want to wash this real good, maybe get some 2-stroke oil or something, gas, and soak it just so it doesn't flash rust again, or WD-40 something just to coat it on there, to keep it protected until you end up using it or painting it or whatever the part is you're doing. But that's pretty much it. It's pretty slick. It's a little bit slow. Like I said, check it every day, unhook it, take the anode out, clean it, put it back together, do it again until it's cleaned to your satisfaction. But this works slick, and it's pretty effortless really once you get it going. Okay, so I'm all set up. I've got a rod that's going down inside the filler neck that's not touching, and then I put a big bolt there at the bottom. And then I've got some old speaker wire running from the bolt up to this clip that's also connected to that rod. So both the anodes or the sacrificial anodes are connected together, and the negatives connected to my piece that I'm going to take the rust off of. So I've dumped some carbonate in there, cup full or whatever, and I'll fill this up with water just underneath the gator clip here. The other thing to remember is make sure you do this in a well ventilated place. The gas that this is off-putting during this process, I guess, can be flammable, so don't do it in your closet at your house and smoke a cigarette. We are off and running. The solution's already kind of starting to change. I can see some bubbling going on, and this has only been plugged in for about a minute or two, so it don't take long for the process to start. I guess immediately as soon as you plug it in, but you'll start seeing it working right away. And give it about a day, take it all out. Don't take your solution out, but take your part out, clean and check your anode, clean your part, see if you need to put it back in again and do it some more. Again, normally this usually takes 2 or 3 days to get it really good, depending on how bad the rust is and how good your setup is. But it will remove 100% of the rust, line of sight, guaranteed, with enough time and with the right solution. So the tire fairy arrived. I'm going with a little different brand this time. On the 56, it with Cooper Cobras. Looking through all the sizes, these Hancooks had both the sizes that I wanted. They did have the 205/75, which is a pretty tall, skinny tire. I wanted those for the front, and these 255/70s for the rear. I can't find the wheels though, those 8-inch wide wheels that I have on the 56. So I ordered 4 of the 205/75s for now. So we'll just run those all the way around right for now. But something to point out, these Hancooks do come in white letter, although I'm going to run black walls out. Another option for, if you want to run white letter on your muscle car or whatever. And that would look kind of cool on here, but I'm going to I think I'll keep the cop car look. So I'll mount the 4 205s on the factory wheels. I've got a Harbor Freight tire changer, so I can knock that out. I can't balance them, but I can at least get them mounted up and get them rolling. So we'll do that next. I'm going to try a trick here that I think will work. I want to paint this wheel with it mounted on the new tire without getting paint all over the tire, which I've seen guys take deck of cards, and I've even used like cardboard and stuff to just lay around the edge. It works okay, but what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to take this old tire here, I'm going to take this razor blade, I'm going to cut the sidewall out all the way around the rim, and then I'm going to just cut the rest of the sidewall out, out here below the tread, and then that'll allow me to just lay it over that, and that'll be my masking tape basically. So get to cut in here, see if that works. Alrighty, I've got it cut off. Actually went easier than I thought it would. What I did is I went around it once and just scribed the line in, fairly firmly, and then the next time it went right in and slipped all around. So I did that around both inside and outside. So I'll pull it out of there and we'll see how well it fits on here. So it fits on here pretty good. I didn't do the greatest job cutting it, which would help. I kind of got it's a little bit irregular, but so it's not getting a perfect fit all the way around, but from here to over here it's a nice fit. So I can just paint that side and then flip it over and paint the other side. So that's what I'm going to try. So I think this will work okay. Alrighty, that worked pretty slick. So I just put that ring around there and went to town. Being that I'm painting black, I got a little more forgiveness, because if I do get a little overspread in the tire, it ain't very noticeable. But I don't. There might have been a spot or two, but for the most part, it's good. So I'd say that was a success. I'll have to keep that guy. That'll be handy in the future. All right, got the new tires mounted on the original wheels. Got the wheels painted black, and then I stuck on some poverty caps I'd bought for the 56, but I thought they looked too shiny. They're Chinese knockoffs of the original police style hubcaps with the drilled holes. They're shiny, which Mopar never offered a hubcap like that. They were like a stainless or whatever look, but I think they look pretty sharp on here. doing a little bit of prep before I set the fuel tank back in here. I've blown this all out with compressed air, and then I went ahead and cleaned the brake distribution, put some PB Blaster on that, because I'll probably end up replacing that brake line, so I might as well do that while I'm under here. But main thing to do, get the old fuel hose off the fuel line. Already had the fuel line disconnected up there by the pump, so that it's not connected from the tank to the pump right now. So I got the fuel line off, and I've blown compressed air through there to make sure that line's clear and clean. So now I'm getting my, I'll get a chunk of fuel hose attached to the line there, get it ready to raise the tank back up in there. Alrighty, new fuel tank is installed. All the lines back here hooked up. Got the vent lines hooked up, and then the main line and the fuel sender. Waiting on my electrolysis to finish before I can get the filler neck reinstalled up in there, so we just got that covered. So now we'll move to the front. Got a new fuel pump to put on before I hook up that end. So I've got the alternator out of the way to change the fuel pump, so I got a clear look at the stamp numbers under the distributor. And we've got a 383 Maltese Cross X, which indicates undersized mains or rods or something like that. So that's kind of interesting. And then down here in the bottom corner, you'll see the HP stamping there. So, and then we got a 24 something. I'm not sure what that number is, but again, just confirming it is a 383. But that's interesting that it's a Maltese Cross engine, which I don't know if that makes it anything more special. It's just an indicator that when you go to rebuild stuff, you better measure and figure out what they undersized. But that's kind of neat. In here, I've got the alternator just removed to give me some better access. I was going to do this from the bottom, but I think it's just easier to remove the alternator and do it from the top. So got everything kind of cleaned up there. You can see the eons of grease built up. I didn't show you beforehand, but it was pretty caked on. So we'll get that pulled off of there. So something I just realized is just about time I'm to unbolt this fuel pump. With all the greases caked on here and it being the orange color, that is the original fuel pump to this engine. So that's kind of cool. Here's the new fuel pump I'm putting on. This is a little bit of an upgrade. These are Carter. I think these are what was spec'd for the Hemis. I'm not positive, but M6903 is the part number. These used to be what they recommended back in the day, so hopefully they're still worthy of the task. They are made in the USA, so that's always a benefit in my eyes. Oh, something to note, down in here there's a little push rod that runs the fuel pump, and it'll slide down. Let me try to get in there. You can kind of see it there in the background. So there's a, right there at the very bottom of that hole, you can see a plug, a pipe plug. So you could take that out and push that rod back up in there to get you, allow the fuel pump to go in. What I'm going to try to do is just slap some Vaseline or petroleum jelly on that rod and slide it up in there, see if it'll stick long enough for me to put the pump back in there after I get the gasket surface cleaned off real well. Alright, got the fuel pump and fuel line completed. I don't like having a soft line that long, so I'll come back later and redo a nice hard line so they ain't got such long pieces. But we'll got the carburetor primed here and put 5 gallons in the tank, so we're going to see if she fires up. Well, she drove outside under her own power, idling really nice. A little bit of smoke coming out the driver's side pipe, so that's number 8 cylinder. I think this back one was the one that had the bad plug, so maybe it's got a little stuck ringage or something. Sounds good though. Definitely happy with that. Leaking lots of coolant out the top radiator hose, but I got stuff to fix that later. Sounds pretty nice. Don't have the fill filler neck in, so I just got a rag shoved in the fuel tank. That sounds good. Pretty tickled. So now we'll go to the next step of water pump and hoses and all that stuff, and then we'll take her for a spin. Or maybe I'll take her for a spin like once I get the fuel filler neck in before I do all that stuff. We'll see. Main thing is we're making progress here. Pretty tickled with that. Well, that's it for now. Thanks for watching.